Today I'll be showing you basic resin pouring. I'm excited to show you considering I'm new to working with resin, but I'll definitely show you enough to get started. You will need gloves to avoid any chemical burns, and a tablecloth to keep your work area clean. I used amazing clear cast resin I got from Michaels. It was about the most economical resin I could find, costing around $20. Do this in a well-ventilated area, and it'd also be a great idea to have a face mask. The chemical smell is really strong while mixing resin. You will need small, disposable plastic cups that are about the size of Dixie cups. Each time you use resin, you will need to use 2 of these cups. The way resin begins to form is by mixing equal parts of the 2 separate liquids, creating a chemical reaction. I start by pouring one liquid into one of the cups and the other liquid into the other cup. That way I can see if they are equal amounts. Then I pick one of the cups and dump it all out into the other. I usually use my stirring stick to wipe out some of the excess, then stir well. Once these 2 are mixed together, you have only a few minutes to get into the molds before it starts to solidify. I will show you a few ways to begin to experiment with the resin. I picked some small flowers from my grass immediately before making this video to use in my resin. You just need to make sure it's small enough to fit into the mold. I'm excited to see how this gem turns out. I made sure to fill the mold all the way to the top with resin. I wanted to keep the resin clear for the flower one, but for the rest of them, since I won't be adding anything like flowers, I'll be adding coloring and glitter to it instead. To color the resin, you can add a little bit of alcohol ink to it or a little bit of fine art acrylic paint. I love adding glitter to everything, which is probably why I was given the nickname Lady Glitter Sparkles. In this mixture, I added more glitter than I'd normally like in it. The most difficult mold to pour resin into is the bracelet mold. It's tricky because the opening is very thin. Also, because I need to pour it into multiple locations around to make sure I have it evenly filled all the way around. Next up is my favorite Sailor Moon pendant mold. I usually use the gemstone mold last in order to use up the rest of my resin. As you can see, I still have some henna left over on my hand and arm. You might recognize it from my last video, Trisha's Henna Designs. If you haven't seen it yet or would like to watch it again, I put the link in the description. It takes 1 week for the resin to become fully cured, but 3 days after mixing the resin, it will be hard enough to remove from the molds to dry further in open air. This is helpful for me because I can start another batch after waiting 3 days instead of 1 week. The resin can be toxic before it is fully cured, so be sure to keep these chemicals up away from children and pets. Some of these Sailor Moon ones didn't turn out so well, but I will be able to cut off the excess resin with an X-Acto knife. I'm relatively happy with how the other ones turned out though. I'm very grateful for all of my viewers and subscribers, so I put in some bonus footage at the end of this for you. See you next time on Trisha Renee's Art Studio.